Hi everyone, this is Constellation here. Wow, MiHoYo just gave us a whole bunch of information. So much information. Look at the amount of new stuff. It's crazy. I'll try my best to cover them as much as possible. So basically, they have shared all the event information and all the banners information for 2.4 at one go, instead of the usual half-half. So first off, let's talk about the important stuff, the banners first, then we'll talk about events. So, obviously the most attractive banner, okay, not necessarily the most attractive banner, but the banner with the most new characters is the Shenhe banner. We have Shenhe and Yunjin, both of them here on this banner. That's very nice. You have Ningguan here, so she buffs Ningguan, Yunjin buffs Ningguan fairly decently, because although Ningguan has normal attack, she's not just normal attacks, she does use elemental skill and elemental burst as well. And Chongyun is required for Shenhe if you want to use Shenhe as a main DPS. But honestly, without C6, it's very hard to use her as a main DPS per se. C6 is the one. Okay. Now, as for whether or not it's worthwhile to pull for more Shenhe, I'll just quickly talk about her constellations. I actually cover her constellation in my Shenhe Math Guide 1, so feel free to check that out. I'll put that in the description as well as in the in-video links in the top right corner here. Okay. So basically, the Shenhe constellations, if you're looking to use Shenhe as a buffer, the highest number of constellations you need to go is just C3, because C1 to C3 benefits her as a buffer, while C4, C5, C6 is really more about her own damage, be it sub DPS or main DPS. Okay, so C4, C5 is mainly towards sub DPS. It helps main DPS as well, but sub DPS benefits too. C6 is the one where I'll say it's really for her as a main DPS herself. So it's kind of like Kazuha, where if you want to use Kazuha as a main DPS, it's better to get him at C6. That kind of concept. As for her C1 to C3, these are constellations where it helps her buffing, because C1 she gains an additional charge on her elemental skill, which is the biggest buff that she can provide through her elemental skill. C2 changes her burst to provide a additional 15% cryo crit damage. So crit damage only for cryo damage. Additional 15%. And plus 6 seconds. Okay, it adds 6 seconds as well to her burst. So it goes from 12 seconds to 18 seconds. So that's why I say the C2 is also for her buffing, because you get 15% crit damage, cryo crit damage, and her burst also, the duration of her burst is extended, and her burst gives you other buffs as well, other than the 50% cryo crit damage from the C2. Her burst also gives you other effects like resistance shred, additional cryo damage bonus, etc. So be sure to check out my Math Guide 1. I don't want to cover everything here again. Be sure to check out my Math Guide 1. I cover all the different type of buffs that she can provide and how to understand how she works and not to misunderstand how she works, because there's a lot of misunderstanding with regards to her kit. Okay, so basically, if you are willing to go spend, but if you intend to use it only as a buffer, C3 is a good place to stop. If you want to use it as a main DPS, C6 is the go-to, but it's very, very expensive. And as for her as a C0, it's doable, because I have shared in my earlier math guides for her as well, where if you set a rotation right, you still are able to use 2 of her C0s, 2 of her elemental skill at C0. If you have in the rotation itself, in the entire rotation itself, be it Meltcom or Freezecom, you are still able to use 2 of her elemental skill. And if you have C1, it will be 3 elemental skill, and C1 will help a lot with regards to her buffing more, giving her more of the trigger quota, and also allowing her to increase the amount of energy particles that she can get, because she gets to use her elemental skill one more time. And if you saw my previous video, I already shared that her energy particle is better than what we expected, because I remember reading in beta that it was like 1 energy particle for press and 2 for hold. So now we have visual confirmation that it's 3 and 4. Now, it may vary it may be 2 to 3. Maybe what they will show us is just a better result. It might be a RNG of 2 to 3 particles and 3 to 4 on hold. 2 to 3 on press, 3 to 4 on hold. But that's still okay, because there are already characters who have RNG on their energy particles, like Diona. Diona also doesn't always give you the same amount of particles. It varies. Okay, it's also, I think it's, I can't remember, it's 4 to 5 or 3 to 4. But for Diona, there's a variation. So I don't think the RNG is a huge issue. And the fact that she can use her elemental skill twice in one rotation already allows her to be able to get more energy. And if you have C1, it's a lot more. And her battery roll will be there. So if you can afford it, C1 is a good spot to stop for her in terms of buffing as well as energy in terms of battery. C2 is obviously nice. C3 is her elemental skill, which again increases the amount that she buffs. So that's why I say, if you are looking for her as a buffer, up to C3 is fine. But of course, if your resources are limited, C0 is okay. Okay? Don't need to overextend or overspend. Always spend within your means. But, before you decide to pull for Shenhe, the important thing is whether or not you have the top tier cryo DPS already, because she's a buffer that buffs only cryo. So make sure you have Ganyu or Ayaka before you even decide to pull Shenhe. And remember that in this banner, we have Ganyu as well. Okay? So if you don't have a top tier cryo DPS, you don't have Ayaka, you don't have Ganyu, it's definitely better to save your Primogens and pull for Ganyu instead of Shenhe. I'm just gonna go outright and say that. It's better if you don't have Ganyu or Ayaka, you're better off pulling for Ganyu rather than Shenhe. Pretty straightforward stuff. Only pull for Shenhe if you have Ayaka or Ganyu. Now, I have not had the chance to do the actual math comparison for her constellations in terms of the actual figures, but I have given quite a bit of thought on her constellation analysis, etc. in the previous math guides, so I hope that helps in terms of the perspective. And Yunjin, if you have seen my Yunjin math guides, she's very, very good. She's a very, very good buffer for Yoimiya, and basically any other normal attack based characters. Right? Any DPS characters that are normal attack based, where their main damage source is normal attacks, she will buff them very significantly. Okay? But obviously you need to go full defense build on her, and likewise for Shenhe, if you want Shenhe to buff the Ganyu and Ayaka a lot, she should be a full attack build. But I have not done the math for build comparisons for Shenhe as well, so it remains to be seen whether a sub DPS hybrid build might be better in terms of overall DPS. But that obviously depends on your weapon refinements and constellation number of constellations as well. A safe bet would be just to go full attack buffer on her, if you're really going to use her. Okay? So I hope that's clear. Between Ganyu and Shenhe, if you don't have Ganyu or Ayaka, you should not pull for Shenhe. I would recommend pulling for Ganyu. Okay, now let's talk about the other weapon that's together with Shenhe, which is the Xiao banner, the Xiao rerun banner. It basically has the same 4-star characters as the Shenhe banner, and you have Xiao. So the thing about Xiao right now, I kind of feel like he's getting a power creep, to be perfectly honest. I think he's starting to get power creep. But here's the thing, I do believe that when MiHoYo comes out with another plunging attack based DPS, that plunging attack based DS probably would have another 4-star character that buffs plunging attacks. Okay, so he definitely has the potential to get buffed in future. But as of now, there's no certainty on that. But if you like his playstyle, plunging, then yeah, you can go for him. But that's more of a personal preference, I'll say. Okay, I mean his DPS is okay, it's not terrible. No matter what, he will still be at least a tier A DPS, even if he's not tier S as DPS, right? Or tier SS DPS. But he's just not my cup of tea personally too. So the next banner, the last banner, character banner I can talk about is Zhongli. Zhongli is going to be together with Ganyu banner. So between the two of them, I guess it depends whether you want more Ganyu constellations or Zhongli constellations, or if you don't have Ganyu, you have Ayaka, you can consider getting Zhongli if you don't have Zhongli. Because Zhongli is, even with the corrosion introduced, even with true damage introduced, he is still very high on the utility that he can provide to the team. Even my Itto comp is using him right now. I'm still using him, even with increased resistance, even with Goro pulling crystallized shards and shields. I still want to use Zhongli. Why? Because his resistance shred still provides a very good damage boost. And I just love his meteor, man. Although my Itto's elemental skill does more than his meteor damage now. But that's also because I'm not a full damage build, I'm a hybrid between shield and meteor damage. Now let's talk about the 4-star characters on both the Ganyu banner as well as the Zhongli banner, because I covered the 4-star characters on Shenhe but I didn't cover Zhongli and Ganyu. So obviously Xingqiu, Beidou, great characters to have, very nice. If you don't have constellations of Xingqiu, you should go get them because Xingqiu constellations are great. Beidou constellations up to C2, C1, C2 are really nice. C3 is okay, C5 is okay, C4 not too bad. Yeah. C6 is nice as well. But Xingqiu is the one character where every single constellation is good. That's how good he is. And Yanfei is nice as well. You can, if you pull for these two banners, if you get a C4 Yanfei, you can explore doing a shield bot Yanfei as well. The shielder Yanfei as well. So that is it for the character banners. To me, the least attractive is really just the Xiao banner, I have to say. I am probably going to be, personally, I am going to be pulling on this banner just to get C6 Yunjin and see what are the constellations of Shenhe that we can get. And because I don't need these two banners, I'm going to skip them. But if, like I said, if you don't have Ganyu or Ayaka, Ganyu is a great choice to choose. In fact, Ayaka's playstyle and Ganyu's playstyle is very different as well. Ganyu can do everything. She can do normal charge attacks that are very consistent. She can do elemental bursts that's very consistent with 100%, easily achieve 100% burst uptime as well, unlike Ayaka where her damage is all in her burst, so you gotta make sure that you are able to do her burst 100% burst uptime. Whereas Ganyu just, like when you're in the overworld, you don't want to waste your burst, right? You may not be able to get energy back, right? You don't need a full rotation. Ganyu just use charge attacks from Ganyu. It's so easy, so nice. So between Ganyu and Zhongli, right, I'll say depends on your utility, whether you want utility or a damage DPS character that can do everything. Personally, obviously, I will rate Ganyu higher than Zhongli. No matter how much I like Zhongli, I have to say Ganyu is just that good. So if you want, you can definitely pull for Ganyu, even if you have Ayaka, right? So yeah, both of them are just so good. It's very hard to decide between which one is better, but I'll just say that Ganyu is slightly better. As for Xiao banner and Shenhe banner, personally, I'll pull for Shenhe banner, but you only pull for Shenhe banner if you have Ganyu or Ayaka. Otherwise, don't bother getting Shenhe. Unless you want Yunjin. Then if you want Yunjin, then it's a choice between whether you want a Shenhe, a C0 Shenhe or a C0 Xiao. Okay. Now let's talk about the weapons. So much stuff. This is the first weapon banner, the one that will be available immediately when 2.4 is out. Obviously, the Zhongli and Ganyu banner is 3 weeks later. So we basically have 2 polearms here. That's the first. I've never seen 2 of the same weapon type together on one banner before. So we have Calamity Queller here and Primordial Jade Spear. So obviously this is BIS for Shenhe. This is BIS for Xiao. I'm not entirely surprised that there's no new weapon for Xiao, since we know beforehand that there's no new weapon. But I have to say, it's surprising that they didn't want to do a new weapon for him. But it's probably because they are already introducing a new weapon, Calamity Queller here. So let's talk about Calamity Queller, right? Calamity Queller is a very good weapon for Shenhe because it has high base attack, it has attack percentage on substat, and even has attack percentage on its weapon effect as well, and it's a lot of attack percentage on the weapon effect. But based on the preliminary figures that we have in the math guide, although I have not done a specific comparison, I do have the figures. I took a quick look. The percentage boost from R1 to R5 is actually pretty bad for Calamity Queller if you are using Shenhe as a full attack build. If you are using her as a sub DPS or mid DPS build, Calamity Queller from R1 to R5, the percentage is likely to be better than a full attack buffer build because of diminishing returns, right? So I'll say if you are looking to use Shenhe as a buffer, C0 R1 is fine. If you are not intending to pull on the 5-star banner, the next best choice will be any of the ER poems. Favonius Lance is in fact good for her, because Favonius Lance allows her to, actually, you know what, let me just show the 4-star weapons. So Favonius Lance is good for her because it has the highest base, almost the highest base attack for a 4-star weapon. It has ER substat, which helps with her because her buffs come both from her elemental skill and her burst, and this helps getting energy particles as well as a battery. This gives her a better battery function as well. So Favonius Lance is definitely a very good option for Shenhe as a 4-star weapon. Wavebreaker Fiend is worthy of mention because the base attack is 45, which means that at level 90 it can hit 620 base attack. So if you're going for a full attack buffer, her attack will help. The base attack will make a big difference because you're going to get a lot of attack percentage as a full attack buffer. Okay, and there's a stat percent substat on the Wavebreaker as well, so that helps. The burst damage here basically increases her own burst damage. Obviously, you're not going to hit 40%, not on the typical comps, but yeah, it's not too bad. And then another spear of mention will be the Lifted Spear, because Lifted Spear also has 565 attack as Favonius Lance at level 90, same base attack, but it has attack percentage substat. You also gain attack percentage from the Refinement, the weapon effect. Okay, so and it gives you crit rate as well, which allows you to build more ER, for example, on your Shenhe, more attack, more ER. So that helps. Okay, or it even helps you to be a hybrid sub DPS, a full attack buffer with some crit stats, so that your damage is still barely decent. Okay, fairly decent. So Lifted Spear is not a bad option as well, but do bear in mind that you need to do Liyue characters, and obviously Ganyu plus Shenhe will be a good choice. Double Liyue character. Yeah, so these 3 are the 4-star weapons worthy of mention, and basically any ER spears ER polearms will do as well, like to catch, it's fine. Skyward Spine is fine. Okay, and Engulfing obviously good as well. That's for Shenhe. Okay, so that is it for the weapon options for Shenhe. I know I kinda digress a little into a weapon guide for Shenhe, but it's also for me to share whether or not how the weapon banner works, right? Whether or not it is worthwhile to pull for Calamity Queller. I do not have the stats or the math for it yet because this banner information are all released really early, so I really don't have the comparison yet. But just looking at the base attack of Calamity Queller plus the attack substat plus the weapon attack effect, I have to say that Calamity Queller is probably going to be you're probably going to get a much bigger boost from this weapon as a full attack buffer versus something like the Favonius Lance. Okay? I mean, that's pretty standard, right? Tier 5 weapon is always better than Tier 4. Most of the time. 5-star is always better than 4-star, most of the time. Okay, so in the coming days, I'll try to see if I am able to do up a weapon comparison video in specific math figures so I can share with you guys. Right now I'm just providing my analysis based on what I know, and based on all the different math that we have done before. So worst case scenario, if you don't get a Calamity Queller, getting a Primordial Jade Wind Spear is not too bad, because Primordial Jade Wind Spear is a pretty good weapon for a lot of DPS characters too, at least polearm characters, so it's not too bad. 4-star weapons with the Favonius Warbow, that's very nice. For Goro too. The Flute okay, with Sith is nice. Dragon. This is Lifted Spear, right? Wow, they are giving 4-star Lifted Spear of this. This is not Dragon Spin. Pretty sure this is not Dragon Spin, this is 4-star. This is Lifted Spear. Okay, let me double check. Yeah, it's Lifted Spear. Okay, So I just mentioned, right, Lifted Spear is a good option for Shenhe as well. So you can get it on this banner too. Maybe you try to get Calamity Queller, you're not successful, you get a Lifted Spear. It's still usable. Okay. For bonus, Warbow is also a good option to get for Guru if you are using Guru from this current version. Okay, all in all, this weapon banner is not too bad. At least the 4-star weapons, there are a couple of good ones. For bonus Warbow, with Sith. For bonus Greatsword, it's not too bad, and you have Lifted Spear, and Calamity Queller, and Primordial Jade Spear. So I'll say this weapon banner is pretty nice. It's okay, not too bad. I'm happy that it's giving such weapons. Now, the next weapon banner after this will be the weapon banner for Ganyu and Zhongli. And Vortex Vanquisher is terrible. I'm just gonna go outright and say this, Vortex Vanquisher is terrible. Ammo's Bow, however, is very good for Ganyu, because Ammo's Bow, the thing about how Ammo's Bow works is that for Ganyu's charge attack, you will always get 3 stats minimum out of the 5 stats possible on the Ammo's Bow effect. So Ammo's Bow is always the best DPS for her, at least for a charge attack build. If you are doing freeze comp Ganyu, something like Skyhawk will still be better because you're focusing more on the burst rather than the Ammo's Bow charge attack effect. So yeah, that's that. But 4-star weapon wise, we do have a Sacrificial Bow, that's always good. For someone like, say, Diona. You have Favonius Sword, Favonius Codex. Favonius weapons are getting more love now because of the way the new characters are coming out right now. Favonius weapon always, it does provide a nice energy boost. And you have the Lifted Blade, which is the lifted version of the Claymore. And I believe Dragon Spin, right? Yeah, Dragon Spin. Sorry, because Dragon's Bane and Lifted Spear have the exact same template but just different colors. So that's why sometimes I get confused by them. Okay. So anyway, Lifted Blade. Just thinking whether Toyun can fit in Fiscom. Nah, not really. Okay, so for this weapon banner, I'll say it's worse off than this. While the 4-star weapons, there are some nice options. The bad thing is that Vortex Vanquisher is a terrible weapon right now. Okay, it's a bad weapon right now. So this is not a good banner because if you can still risk trying to get a Ammo's Bow, but if you get a Vortex Vanquisher, the feeling is going to be terrible. As opposed to if you were trying to get a Calamity Queller and you lost it and you got a Primordial Jade Spear, still not bad. Primordial Jade Spear still good, right? Still, it's a weapon with a decent crit rate and nice weapon effect. So yeah, that's it for the weapons. Oh, weapon banner. Oh my god, MiHoYo really gave us information overload. So much stuff for me to run through. Okay, I'll just very quickly talk about weapon events. So this is the first event that we will be getting. It starts on 7th January. So the new patch is on 5th January. Okay, it's 5 days away. We are gonna get the first event is gonna be this potion event, study in potions, equipping potions, complete challenges, like what they showed in the live stream. And wonderfully, we have live Wind Trace. Wind Trace is coming back. That's so fun. And it's happening on 13th January. So it's after the study in potions event. And next is the 8 locales over mountains and seas. And then we have the hangout events. Ningguan and Yunjin. The Ningguan one should be interesting. Keqing's costume. You know, if Keqing's costume and Ningguan's costume were reversed, in terms of Keqing's being free and Ningguan's being require purchasing, I will purchase Ningguan's outfit with no doubt. But not so much for Keqing. So yeah. Ocean Song, okay, that's the BP. Okay, just a point to note for Yunjin, right? Deathmatch is a very good weapon for her, so you can consider getting this for her. Okay, this is the standard Adventurous Booster bundles that we always get every new version, right? So yeah, this is just wheel territory for wheels to purchase. That's about it. Okay, those are all events. Wow. And we also get a gift in February. Just from logging in, they will send us these emails. There are 3 intertwined fates from this. And now this is the event where we will get the free Yunjin. Oh, sorry, I should just say free Yunjin. Free for the 8 free 4-star characters that you can choose one of. But here's the thing, this event is not going to happen so soon. It's going to happen in the second half of 2.4, which means that the Yunjin, if you're trying to get C6 Yunjin via one copy of this banner, you will have to wait 3 weeks. Okay, you have to wait 3 weeks. 3 weeks to get this banner. 3 weeks to get the last copy of Yunjin. So yeah, depending on whether you are willing to wait that 3 weeks. Yeah, earliest it start is this, and you're not even guaranteed this at the start, right? Because you need to get the event resources first. Yep. Okay. So yeah, this is the one where you log in and you get 10 into 20 fits. So that's very nice. So I hope this has been helpful to you guys. Mihoyo really gave us an information overload. I hope my banner analysis and recommendations are helpful to you. If you like the content, remember like video and click subscribe for more. Bye!